Okay, so with this one, I know I can do the triangle and square method because,
the coefficient of x squared is 1.
Yep, so because this is 1, I know I can do the triangle and square method. Now, I'm going to teach you guys another method now, which ties into today's lesson. So x squared, how can I split up x squared? X and x. Okay, what about 24? How can I split up the 24? What times what gives me 24, basically? Yeah.
6 and 4.
6 and 4, or, so like I have 6 and 4, 8 and 3, or 12 and 2. Okay, so just like how we did the triangle and square method, I know that I'm trying to get the negative 14, the middle part. So which one of these do you think ties into negative 14? Kelly? 12 and 2. The 12 and the 2, but that's still not negative 14. Negative 12, negative 2. So when I cross multiply right here, negative 2x minus 12x gives me negative 14x, right? So when I cross multiply them, I get negative 2x times negative 12x, which gives me negative 14x. So how am I going to write my answer? I'm going to write so this is going to be my first bracket, and this is going to be my second bracket. So my answer is going to be x minus 12, x minus 2. Right? So this is a second method to triangle and square. All right. So why did I teach you guys triangle and square? Now I teach you a different method because triangle and square doesn't always work. Triangle and square only works when the coefficient here is 1. This method works with any coefficient, just like this one, where the first coefficient is not 1. So in this case, 4x squared plus 9x plus 2. Okay? So let's copy down this example. 4x squared plus 9x plus 2. We're trying to factor this using the method that we just learned. Let me zoom this in. Okay, so how do we split up the 4x squared? Yep. Okay, so with this, I usually use a pencil because sometimes it does take a trial and error. It takes a few times. Okay, so for example, I can say 2x and 2x. Now what about the 2? What about 2? How do I split up the 2? So 2 times 1, right? Or 1 times 2. So when I cross multiply it, I get 2x plus 4x, which gives me 6x. That's not what I want. I needed 9x. So I need to change one of these set of numbers. So for the 2, I can only do 2 times 1. Not much to change here. But what about the 4x squared? Yep.
4x times x.
Yeah, it could be 4x times 1x. So let's see what happens when we do that. That's why I use a pencil. 4x times 1x. I get 4x plus 2x. I still only get 6x. Right? So order also matters. Yeah, Catherine?
1x, so just x and then
Yeah. So I could change the order. So this is 1x and this is 4x. If I do it this way, 1x times x, 1x times 1 is just x, and then 4x times 2 is 8x. When I add them up, I get the 9x that I want. So that means this is my first bracket, And this is my second bracket. When I read it, I really like that. So when I write it, it's going to be x plus 2 because it's a positive 2, so it's plus 2. And then what's my second bracket then? 4x plus 1. And there you go. We factored a trinomial where the x is not just 1. Alright. So technically, in a way, it's kind of like guess and check as well, trial and error. But at least, again, you have a direction. You're not just picking numbers blindly. Okay, let's try this one. 5v squared minus 14v minus 3. So 5v squared, this one is easy. There's only one combination. What times what gives us 5v squared? Yep, so we'll just go v and 5v. Yep, v and 5v. Negative 3. It would have to be? Yeah. Good. Okay, so it's either 1 and negative 3 or negative 3 and 1. So knowing that is negative 14 with v, I'm going to put it in this order. Negative 3 and positive 1. Okay, what happens when we cross multiply? V minus 15v gives us negative 14v. Is that what we want? Yep. And so what's my 2 brackets then? Remember, you write it like this. You write it across. Aryan?
V minus 3 times 5v.
Perfect. Yeah.
Is this the only way you're gonna teach us today?
This is a method. is there another method that you prefer?
Yeah.
Which one?
Like, you move the coefficient of x squared to the like, you times the coefficient of x squared to the constant.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like, you do it like before.
Grouping, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so there is a second method where you could break up this negative 14v into 2 terms so that you get the 4 terms and then you do by grouping.
I didn't mean that.
Oh, you didn't mean that way? There is a different way as well. There's another method. But I don't like that method because you're creating an extra step and then you have to do by grouping. You can do it your own way. Like factoring, there's a lot of different ways how you could do factoring. So if you like your method, Paul, or you like your own method, Kelly, like that's perfectly fine. I would just say at the end, do FOIL to make sure you factor it properly. Yeah. So there's different ways you could do it. I think this is one of the easier ways, so that's why I teach this way to you guys. Later on, if you guys want to, come on up and, we can discuss different methods as well. But I just don't want to confuse the rest of the class. Okay, example 3. Okay, what should I do first? Kyle, you have an idea for number 3? Sorry? Yeah, why? Yeah, common factor. So don't jump into conclusion right here. Good job, Kyle. Common factor. So don't forget, we said we always need to check for common factor first. Oops, common factor. Let me zoom this out. Okay, so common factor. I can factor out a 4 in each of these terms. So I get 4 bracket v squared minus v minus 2. Okay. Since this is v squared, I could do the triangle and square method, or I can be consistent and just do this method, v and v, and then this would be negative 2 and 1. So when I cross multiply, I do get the negative v. So what's my final answer here then? Aryan?
B minus 2 times B plus 1.
Okay. Did Aryan just lose the mark? Kelly? Yeah. No, I'm pointing it out because people do forget that common factor. So it was part of it. And so that's why it's so important to double check. When you do this, the FOIL, you don't get this answer. And then you'll realize, oh yeah, I forgot the 4. Okay, so make sure you don't forget the common factor. A lot of people do. Okay, Emma, I'm going to ask you the next one. Yeah, this one. So let's break up the 4r squared. 1r, 4r, okay. Looking ahead, well, I know this is just going to be 1 and 1. If I do 1r and 4r, I don't think I'm going to get that 4r. So how else can I split up that 4r squared? What times what gives you 4? Yeah, 2 and 2. So 2r, 2r. So when I multiply, I get that 4r in the middle. Yeah. So what are my 2 brackets, Emma? Yeah. And my last step? Perfect. Yes, I do need to see this last step because this is not factored fully. This is factored fully. Okay. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Okay. So far, so good. This method makes sense. Okay. Next, last 2 examples. 12x squared minus 27h plus 15. MBO. Yeah, notice I'm picking people who are on their laptops. Example 5. Okay, what should I do first?
We figure out like 12 squared. So
Okay.
divide it. There's like
Alright. Yeah, Len? Common factor. Yes, always, always, always. Common factor first. Something goes into all 3. Right? So I get 3, 4x squared minus 9h plus 5. Now let's say Hanbyo didn't catch it at the first place, and she did our method, and then she factored. It's not the end of the world. At the end, when she does her factor, she'll just see that there's actually a common factor of 3 as well that she needs to pick up. Right? So with the 4x squared and the 5, so 5 I know is 1 and 5 has to be. This one, 4h. Right? So keeping in mind that I have to multiply it with the 5 and the 1, I'm thinking I should do 4h and h. Right? So when you choose your numbers, think about your middle term and then see if there's a connection. Yeah.
Isn't that minus 5?
It is, yeah. Because if I do this, I get 4h plus 5h, which gives me positive 9h. That's not what we want. We want negative. So I have to make this and this both negative. Okay. So what's my final answer? All right. Aryan, to redeem yourself.
3, 4h minus 5, and h.
Good job.
Also, in this method, we kind of like use it when we get to the higher numbers. It'll be like not as useful.
When we get into higher numbers, there's another method, which is the quadratic formula. Yeah, and that's the next chapter, quadratic
Can I just
formula.
skip everything? I'm just using quadratic formula.
Quadratic formula solves for h. It doesn't help you factor. So it's just a way to help you know the answer so that you can work backwards. So technically, you still need to know this method. Okay. And the last example, this one. Let's try this one last one. See if you guys can do it. Take 30 seconds. Try this one. And notice this one, it's a d square. So not just a constant, but it has a variable as well. Notice I use a pencil to do these questions because sometimes it is like trial and error, so you do need, you'll be erasing. Okay, so Alan, you want to help us with example 6? You can solve it with us here. It's okay, you can look here. Okay. Hazel, do you have the combination?
My computer, so.
Good reason. Okay. Oh, okay, Catherine. What are you going to break it up as?
6c squared minus, can you write the c squared down?
It won't be 6c squared.
No, I'm doing, the other way. Because, that's how I wrote it down. And I can't, unsee it now.
You can't unsee it now. Okay. So let's be consistent with our method first, and then I can look over your method.
Okay.
Okay, so 6c squared, what can I break that up as?
6c and c.
6c and c, okay. What about the negative 10d squared?
I did it a different way.
Okay. So let's be consistent first, okay? 5d and negative 2d. Yeah, that works. So when you cross multiply, you get this negative 12 CD plus 5 CD, which gives you the negative 7 CD. The trick right here is the D. You have to include the D because it's D squared. So to write my final answer, yep.
6d plus d.
Perfect. All right, so it's not always going to be a variable plus a constant. It could have a second variable as well. All right, and you just do the same thing on this side. Split it up. Yeah, we're going to do that right now. Okay, so that was the lesson. And here are the homework questions. You guys have plenty of class time to work on these ones. It's not a lot. So 4 ACE, 5 ACE, 6 ACE. Another thing I want to point out, during parent-teacher interview, what a lot of your parents were asking is how can they help challenge you guys? They want you guys to keep challenging yourself, and that's good. So how is... If you take a look at the homework, this one was chapter 4. Factor when a does not equal 1 is this one right here. Okay, when you take a look at these, I always include extra questions in the homework. I have extension questions. So, for example, more questions. You can definitely try those. For the last one, I have these. See extend. When it says extend, these are the type of questions that you might see in a math contest. Okay, so do try it out. Do challenge yourself. Answers are attached. And if it doesn't work, you don't understand, feel free to come on up. Ask me. I do want you guys to challenge yourself. I don't want you guys to stop at where we are. I want you guys to keep trying. Okay. And if you are done everything, definitely you can move on to the next lesson, which is what we're gonna do tomorrow. So tomorrow we're gonna do perfect square factoring, the last type of factoring. Sounds good? Okay, so today's homework is here. Factor when a does not equal 1. There's no I use the hashtag symbol because there's no not equal sign symbol on Brightspace. So it's this one. This one. Okay, so just scroll down. Those are the questions.